Before the break, we were talking about Binance. We are sticking with them because they are allegedly partnering with Nigeria in a plan to create a virtual free zone. So the country is hoping to create something similar to Dubai's digital city, which is establishing itself as a hub for digital assets and long-term economic growth. I thought this was interesting because there was a Bloomberg report early in August that said Nigeria is the most crypto curious country, according to Google search reports and report by, I believe it was CoinMarketCap. Adam, what do you make of the story? And while you tell us what you make, I'm just going to verify that that report was by CoinMarketCap.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it makes a lot of sense. Again, like if you're talking about one of the fastest growing areas where there's the most interest in these types of things, and you're talking about an exchange that has frankly more money than it knows what to do with, like it would be surprising to me if we didn't see more exchanges do something similar here. Effectively, what we're in right now is a foot race for who can establish dominance in not just global markets, but in national markets across the world. And to the extent that a country is more interested in these things, they're more interesting to these exchanges, who again have kind of like, we talked about it earlier in the show. I mentioned that, Poloniex used to be a really big deal as an exchange, and now nobody talks about them except for when we're talking about something weird happening because they're not important anymore. That moment of relevance, like that's something you have to hold on to. Otherwise, it goes away. Because what happens is companies, when they're small, they can do things that you can't get away with when you're big. And Binance made a lot of money by being small, and now they're making a lot of money by being big. But they got to keep doing that. They have to keep innovating and not get stagnant. So that's what I see here. This is it's a somewhat mature move, but I think it totally fits what they're doing, and strategically, it makes a lot of sense to me. Jen, how about you?
Okay, so it was CoinGecko. Sorry, my brain is still on long weekend mode, so please forgive me, everyone. I think this is really interesting, and I wonder how many of these virtual free zones we're going to see pop up as countries really try to understand what the technology means for them and how their citizens want to interact with crypto, but it also seems like a huge motivator behind a lot of these virtual free zones is to motivate and attract companies to come there, set up there, become registered there, and attract capital to a lot of these places. And I wonder how that is going to clash with regulation as we move forward and get more clarity. And so I think it's great. I think we need this. I just also wonder how regulators are looking at this. Will, what do you think?
Definitely a great story. And I think Nigeria fits the footprint for this, right? We've seen from their past history that they've been huge adopters of stablecoins, especially for remittances. Shout out to Useful Tulips, the data site that we actually talk about a decent amount on the hash. And it shows that there's a lot of volume for remittances going back and forth from Nigeria to different parts of the world. And we've seen a lot of that being through stablecoins, right? People are using Paxful, or they're using USDC or some other like Tether, using those stablecoins in order to facilitate international transfers. I think that just is one part of the story, right? If Nigeria wants to move into digital economy, and they're quickly moving that way, then I think they're going to see more adoption of like these smaller products like stable coins. There's other things in here too as well, right? Like probably going to see some metaverse pitch at some point, I'm sure. But there's tons of different things that go into these free economic zones. And I think crypto adoption for them makes a lot of sense based on like their tech adoption, and then also the history of using cryptocurrencies. Wendy, to you.
I think this is absolutely fantastic. I love to see people with money giving back, especially to the underdogs. And when we're talking about remittances actually suck. They take a long time, they're expensive, and maybe some people don't have access to transportation to get a remittance done or to accept the remittance in some of these areas. So I think it's absolutely fantastic. I also think that it's very smart on a global scale when we're talking about marketing to really absorb that market share. And I know for me, how I grew up, word of mouth is important. Word of mouth is a really great way to market. And I know some people might disagree and they're like, oh, well, you have the internet. Well, that's fine. You can market on the internet all you want, but there's certain cultures and there's certain groups of people that if they have a good experience and they take that experience and they tell their families, their grandmas, their aunts, whomever it may be, those family members in that group are going to have loyalty and pledge loyalty to that particular brand. I think Binance knows that, and I think that they're purposely doing this. To me, it's a win-win, and I'm very, very excited. On top of that, lastly, we're seeing a lot of places that are not being crypto friendly. The United States isn't necessarily crypto friendly right now in some other parts of the world. So the places that are going to become crypto friendly are essentially planning for the future. And it's going to be good for them economically later, because people like myself that might have to leave California to go be somewhere where stable coins are allowed or where crypto is more accepted, I might have to look at places like that when I'm ready to move. What's going to be best for me? Where am I going to be treated best?
Denver, come out here. Come to the mountains.
Denver?
We'll get you.
Well, I guess we can sing that one song. So
we can do the hash together.